couch in a chair, steam on a coffee, breaking down tape, sleep looking car, sleep green in his notes, birds on his cap, talking about trenches, blitz, block, snap, Bo got a ring, West Coast breeze, stories from confetti still stuck in his sleeves, James C's black gold, whole town rides, Big C talk ways where the tide line slides, it's that Sunday morning podcast, come on, turn it up loud, from the first hot take to the last cold crowd, Mitch, Bo, James, Big C talk ball, every call, every draw, every brawl, every ball, if you love this game, you know this sound, hardcore sports, we run this town, oh yeah, Mitch say Philly fly, Bo say skyline, James pull stats right off the sideline, Big C laugh, talk speed on the seam, whole squad argue same love, one dream, red zone rush, fourth down hush, overtime talk, heart rate crush, from east to the west, down coast to steel, it's a barbershop talk, just mics, just real, Sunday morning podcast, oh, turn it up loud, from the first hot take to the last cold crowd, Mitch, Bo, James, Big C, talk ball, every call, every draw, every brawl, every brawl, if you love this game, you know this sound, hardcore sports, we run this town, oh yeah, call in, tap in, let the takes fly, we debate, celebrate, ride or die, same gridiron, 4 different views, one game, one love, that's hard, it's that Sunday morning podcast, turn it up loud, from the first hot take to the last cold crowd.
Hey guys, what is up? What is up? Welcome to the NFL Sunday Morning Show. I'm here with my guys, James from Steelers by the Lake Podcast, Big C from Film Proxy Podcast, and Football Talk with Bo. How's everyone doing, man?
Hey, that intro song's tight though.
Yeah, Big C made that. Yeah, Big C made that, man. How you doing, man?
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, we're doing good. We're doing good, dude. We're doing good. Getting ready to talk about the draft. I'm excited to hear what you guys' takes are throughout the whole quote. Is it like an event, I guess? Or
Heck yeah.
that's what it is. All right. I'm afraid I was like, I don't know what to call it. So
800,000 people says it's definitely an event.
It is definitely an event. Yeah.
oh wow. That is crazy. Isn't that
Well, yeah,
record?
just in the crowd for the announcements was what 300 is what they were saying.
I think they said 320 the first day. Yeah, it was a record-setting attendance.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it would be a lower attendance there than the other places because just the area they chose wasn't as big.
Yeah. Well, that just lets you know that that crowd stretched further than the camera gave it justice for.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, if you're in the back of that crowd, what are you even doing? Just go to the bar. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Big C, how do you feel about the draft, man?
The event or how the Dolphins did?
The draft as a whole. How do you feel about the draft as a whole? And then we're gonna get into like
I mean, I think it's a crazy event. It's nothing I would particularly want to go to because I just don't want to be around that many people at one time. That's just like, what if you got to go to the bathroom, right? I mean, it's just it's just something that I wouldn't want to do, but it's a spectacle for sure.
Yeah. Like my friend, when he was in Philly, he went to the last day. He didn't go on the first. The last day was a lot less crowded. You still were able to do everything. So he was like, I'll go again on the last day. That was fun. He loved it. So I'm like, if it comes here, would I go? Probably not. But I might consider going the last day instead of going to the main one. That's like a whole thing. Yep.
To
Like
just
Coach
go-
said. If
to just go watch. I probably wouldn't do it. If I was in a working capacity, I would do it.
yeah.
But to just go to it, probably not.
You mean kind of like God, what's the Philly sports guy? Kind of like him, right?
Well, no, he goes to them. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
so
I got guys that I work with at AFC Roundtable. They got a pretty big following, and they got press passes, and they go to the draft, and they go to the combine, and like TD, he's a Dolphins He's a Dolphins content creator. I work with him a lot. He got to interview Caden Proctor right after he was drafted, right?
Nice.
So like he's not in that crowd. It's different for them, you know what I mean? Like TD was playing cards with the Philadelphia Eagles lineman right before the Super Bowl, like sitting at a table playing cards with the linemen, you know what I mean? So it's completely a different situation for them. So if it was a situation like that, absolutely I'd go. But to stand next to Tom, Dick, and Harry bottled in like a, like a sardine, and no thanks.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. Like if I'm just standing out there in the crowd, a hard pass. But if I have my credentials for it, I'm going to that.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm about 2 hours away from Pittsburgh. I'm north of Pittsburgh, basically where Pennsylvania ends in the north west corner there. But yeah, I didn't want to go because it's just such a mess. So many people, and as expensive as the rumor was about hotels and parking and all that, I was like, nah, man, I'll watch it at home like I always do.
My friend went to a bar. My friend went to the bar with a couple of his buddies, and he was just like, Mitch, everyone was so drunk out of their mind. I'm like, I wonder why.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. That's the other side of it too. Is that's a party city, man. They start pre-gaming 10 hours before kickoff, like a lot of cities do, I'm sure. But yeah, they take that very serious there. So I'm sure there were some sloppy situations.
It's hilarious because a guy I used to work with, he would take all of the draft days off, right? Which I think it's funny because it doesn't start till late in the day. Now I get you can't day drink unless you start early, so I get it. But at the same time, you could easily do your work day before the draft starts, right? So, but he would take them off, and don't get me wrong, he would still show up Monday rough. So I can only imagine how those draft parties went.
Yeah.
And I took the whole weekend off, but it's just because I didn't want to have to deal with any work nonsense at all. Something always goes wrong. Something always goes wrong, and then all of a sudden, I just didn't want to have to deal with it. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off too.
Like it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
We got a big old staycation watching NFL draft. It's my kind of staycation.
There you go.
So let's get into our respected teams and how they did overall, and then we're going to the winners and losers and all of that. So we're going to start off with James on this one. How did the Steelers do as a whole, you think?
As a whole, I like the draft. There's two things that I didn't care for, and it's more what they didn't do.
Sure.
To me, in this draft, you had a really strong safety class. You had a really strong middle linebacker class. And Pittsburgh didn't address the safety position until the 7th round and didn't take a middle linebacker at all. So I didn't care for that when you have an opportunity to add some pretty elite talent, or at least elite athletes at these positions that were better than most years. So to ignore that, I didn't care for, but there were a couple of guys they got that I really loved. The kick returner out of Iowa, Caden Wetchen, is just the best return man in college football. He had 6 returns for touchdowns between kicks and punts. I loved the guard from Iowa, Jennings Dunker, just an absolute mauler. He's got a big, nasty red mullet that he's going to fit in just perfect in Pittsburgh with that thing. So there's a couple of picks that I really, really liked. I was disappointed in the lack of addressing safety, especially when at their pick in the 1st round, they could have had Dylan Thieneman. He was there available to him. So I wasn't a fan of skipping over Dylan Thieneman, but I did like most of their picks.
Yeah. Bo?
Yeah, it's hard to be mad at this draft for Seattle. They went and got exactly the positions they needed, right? They drafted for need. They took best guys available. You put that combination together, you can't be real mad at it. That being said, I thought grabbing Price, although he did fall to us, I thought they didn't really need to do that. There was enough running back talent in the 2nd round. I thought they could have dropped out of the 1st, got a couple more picks. They entered the draft with 4 picks, and they needed some stuff. So that being said, again, Price was a great running back. Now, he couldn't win the starting job, but Love is, arguably a generational talent. So, you can't fault him too much for that. He was highly productive when he was in there. And then they go on to grab a safety out of TCU, and they grab a couple of corners. So, I mean, they were directly targeting the exact needs that they had. So overall, I would say they did a decent job. If you were going to grade it, it's probably like a B draft. But again, you entered it not really having a lot of stock coming in. So how good of a draft were you really going to have?
Okay. Big C, what about you and your Dolphins? How'd they do? What was it?
You know, there was obviously some players that I liked. There's some players that it's not even that I don't like the picks per se. I just thought there was better players available on the board that maybe we should have took. So I'm taking a lot of criticism from the Dolphins community because I don't suckle on every draft pick that the Miami Dolphins select in this new general manager. I'm just supposed to be all on board. Like he's going to hit a home run with all 13 picks that he had. Oh, how dare you not like this pick? How dare you not think that's the best guy? They know more than you. We're not supposed to criticize the Miami Dolphins. He's the general manager. Who are you? You know what I mean? And I'm like, what are we doing here? If we can't give our opinion, and why are we even having a podcast right now? But there was definitely players I liked. I think we're getting a mixed bag of signals from the Miami Dolphins. They're talking about hitting the double off the wall, not swinging for the fences, not trying to hit the home run, but playing safe and getting good football players. And, Caden Proctor, the first overall pick for the Miami Dolphins, he's kind of a risk, right? He has weight issues. He has motivation issues. Can he be the best player, offensive lineman in this draft? Absolutely. He's a mountain of a man. He has potential through the roof, but he's a risk. Caleb Downs was a safer pick. What's his name? Vega Ione from the Penn State. He's a safer pick. And these guys are still high ceiling guys too. So I'm not mad at the Proctor pick, but it's just, you say one thing, but we're doing another. And I just think at pick 11, the Miami Dolphins weren't in a position to be taking a chance. They needed a sure thing, and I'm not sure that Proctor is absolutely a sure thing. He's a left tackle. We have a left tackle. He's never played the right side. It's not automatic that players can make that transition. It's a hard transition. And to be honest, Proctor's not great with his footwork. So he's got to learn a whole new way of doing footwork. You know what I mean? So, but I do like Proctor. He has all the potential in the world. He has the potential to be the best offensive lineman in this draft. And then, we go with Chris Johnson later in the first round. I like this corner. I think he's very good. But then there's a head scratcher later on. Jacob Rodriguez, I like him. But was that really a need? We have a bunch of needs on this team, and there was a lot of good players available. Zion Young, we're in desperate need of a pass rusher. He was still on the board. But I'm not mad at Jacob Rodriguez. I think he's a hell of a football player. But again, a risky football player. Yeah, he's got a great high IQ. You know what I mean? But he's still undersized. He still has question marks about him. And then, the wide receiver pick, Caleb Douglas. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely head scratcher to me. This guy was ranked in the 6th round, somewhere between the 38th and 42nd best receiver in this draft. And we take him as the 9th best receiver when Zion Branch is available, Jacoby Lane, Chris Brazel, Ted Hurst are still on the board. One of the top safeties in the draft, AJ Hawsey's available. That was a head scratcher to me. And then the later round picks, those guys, each and every one of them, I like some of them. Some of them are a little bit questionable, but late round picks, I don't put a lot of stock in because they're late round draft picks.
Well, let me address Jay's comment there. Motivation issues. Usually where motivation issues come in for these guys is they arrived at this point on talent. They don't actually love football. And so a lot of those guys don't necessarily try hard every play. Right. So I don't know. I don't know that that's the case with this particular player, but that's usually what that is they are extraordinarily talented and happen to play football, but don't necessarily love football, right? And that translates on the field. You can see them take plays off or not try as hard if it's not coming their way or those types of things.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nikki, tell us about the Eagle Command. And by the way, happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
I know you did
Happy
a stream
birthday.
yesterday.
Yep, happy belated to your boy. As far as the Eagles go,
Go for it.
it's pretty interesting. I was a bit surprised we took another wide receiver because we already brought in so many guys. It looked like we were going to address the O-line first, but we did eventually. Now, Mekhi Lemon, he's an interesting guy. He's more of a slot guy. I'm curious. Obviously, the Eagles are gearing up for an A.J. Brown trade. They want another receiver alongside Devontae Smith. They know that Wicks, Elijah Moore, and Hollywood Brown, while they can fill the role in the short term, they know they're not the long-term answer. They're hoping that a Mekhi Lemon can eventually fill that void. And we'll have to see because he's 5'11", 192. He has some Cole Beasley-ish vibes as in a short receiver. We'll see how it ultimately works out with him. And then they did address the offensive line in the later rounds. They got Markel Bell in the third, and then in the sixth, they got Mika Morris. I was a bit surprised they took Cole Payton from North Dakota State in the fifth round before they took a safety because they needed a safety with Blankenship. This draft, it feels kind of iffy right now, but at the same time, with Howie Roseman's track record, you know this, Mitch, from 2021 to present, I'm willing to give him some benefit of the doubt, although we'll have to wait and see on that one. But
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do, though. They're trying to get the skill positions early because they know Goddard isn't getting any younger. Go get a tight end in the second round. So I like the idea. Time will tell if that actually plays out.
Yeah.
Might not be on every Eagles fan's radar. I would like to have seen them get a kicker in the seventh round. I'm sure Mitch would agree because Elliott the last couple of years is not the same as it was early on.
Yeah.
And they could still get someone, though, and off of waivers or off someone's practice squad. After all, that's how they got Elliott years ago. So,
all right, real quick, Nikki, real quick. We actually got a $10 super chat. So let me put that on the screen real quick. Shout out to my guy, Jay. Great show thus far. Wanted to say thank you for the enjoyable and educated take. Love of the game. Tied and motivation. Appreciate it. Shout out to you, Jay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I've always said, kind of an unpopular take is it's always too early to crown winners and losers the first week after. Because really, you don't really see the winners and losers till a few years later. Like, for example, 2021, we look back at that, particularly the quarterback side, as one of the most overhyped draft classes and the most overhyped of this decade. Even 2023, we're like the QB wise, Bryce Young may actually end up being the best QB in that draft class in a few years from now, maybe.
Yeah.
That's so.
No, I do always laugh at when, they're grading the drafts, right? Because, and I even gave a grade to Seattle, right? Saying it was a B just based on, what we see. But, those guys could become Hall of Famers. We don't know. Or they could be, 2-game flameouts. Like, you never know. So,
right.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when come Friday morning, everyone's like, who's the day one winners and losers? Exactly. First off, what's going to happen days 2 and 3? Like the Raiders, they got Mendoza. They're the winners. Well, what did the Raiders do days 2 and 3? First off, next team up.
Jermod McCoy. I love that pick for him. But, if you look in the chat, you can't say nothing bad about the draft whatsoever. The Miami Dolphins, if you let the fan base tell it, he's going to hit on all 13 picks. Our general manager, Sully, is going to hit on all 13 picks. How dare you criticize any of them? Even me criticizing the 6th round receiver we took in the 3rd round. How dare you? How dare you? There's a reason that we took a 6th round receiver in the 3rd round. And I like a lot of the Miami Dolphins picks. I do. But I'm just stating the obvious that there was players on the board that were supposedly fit what you're trying to do better. You talk about the double off the wall. There was safer picks. Absolutely. Were they better players? Who knows what these players are going to be? Who knows what they're going to end up being? Absolutely. Caden Proctor can be all world's a left tackle, right tackle, whatever. You just don't know. So yeah, I feel like you question these guys. Oh, you're going to listen to a mock draft, or you're going to listen to these analysts. Yeah, they do it for a living. You know what I mean? I watch the tape myself, but they do it for a living. They do it full time. You know what I mean? And I swear the fan bases swear that these general managers, when they draft, all 13 picks are home runs, and obviously that's not the case. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that there's a lot more misses than hits.
Then you'll have a couple guys don't make the roster too. You know,
always
you always have high hopes for everybody. You want them to be able to contribute, if not year one, maybe two. But almost always there seems like one or two guys you draft don't even make it 2 months later.
Oh, I mean, you know that there's guys drafted that don't make teams.
Yeah,
every year, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's 256 draftees, and roughly 200 of them will make rosters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my guy who likes to move his head, our pick, he'll make the roster. He'll make the roster. So for me, with the whole Eagle draft, I'm good with it. I actually like that offensive line, Malachi Bell, 6'9", 330. Give me that. Like, seriously, I've been scout. I've wanted him for a month now, and I'm like, oh, we got him. Wow. Just the whole height. Imagine him with Mailata. Just that.
It's the biggest 1-2 tackle combo in the league now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We don't have an offensive line coach anymore, Jeff Stoutland. So I'm like, I really am interested on how this is going to work moving forward without Jeff Stoutland actually there. So for me, I'm just like, all right, let's see how it goes. So Eagles did good. I mean, that's all I got to say. I trust Howie, just like what Nikki said.
And the interesting thing is, what's their plan offense bringing in all these receivers? Are they going to try to run it back and do the same type of offense they did last year, just hoping that more receivers will help out? Because that's my concern, because usually trying to repeat the same formula doesn't really work out. So that's a bit of a question I have about the future.
That's all I got to say is that A.J. Brown is gone. That's all I got to say about that. He's gone.
Yeah, that's not if, but when.
June 2nd. June 2nd.
I'm interested to see how you guys utilize that tight end, Eli Stowers. He's a really athletic dude. Had a 45-inch vertical at the combine. It's a record-breaking vertical leap. So a tight end with that kind of athleticism and jumping ability, you got to think he's going to get some jump balls in the red zone. That's going to make it real tough to defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So let's get into who you guys thought was the winners for this draft. We'll start off. Actually, we'll start off with Nikki and go around. Nikki, who do you have as one of your winners for the draft?
I would have to say the Raiders, because they made the right obvious move drafting a quarterback, and they've tried to make a few other decent moves. So there's at least the potential they could at least be better. I mean, anything's got to be better than last year, though. So
yeah,
I'll give them that right there.
Only up from here for the Raiders. All right, Bo, what about you?
I mean, I wouldn't limit it just to the draft here, but I like what the Giants have done overall between the draft and free agency. They're probably going to have the biggest turnaround year to year, especially because, Dallas, you never know what they're going to do. And then Washington, they got a lot of work to do. The Eagles, I'm very curious to see what it is your offense is going to look like. Real curious to see if that offensive line takes a step back at all. So, there's always one of those teams that's worst to first. This is a division that Giants could kind of shock some people. I don't think they do, but the potential's there.
Mm-hmm. All right, James?
I really liked what the Bears did in this draft, and it's more about the individual players and filling some of the holes. I was real high on Dylan Thieneman, so for them to get him in the first round, I thought was a home run, especially since their defense last year just allowed people to move down the field. They got a ton of turnovers, but they gave up a ridiculous amount of yards. So you got to tighten that up with your secondary. The corner they took later on, Malik Muhammad, a really talented guy, tall, fast, long arms. everything you look for in a corner from the physicality side. And then I was real big on the tight end. They took Sam Roush too, which is kind of crazy. Are the Bears going to go with a 3 tight end set now? I mean, they put a third round investment in this tight end, and they already have 2 that they're paying highly or have high investments in. They're both talented guys. So it does make you wonder if the Bears are going to run out with some jumbo formations with a lot of 3 tight end sets. But I thought they nailed 3 of the picks, and 2 of them being in the secondary, I think is going to really help that defense out and kind of tighten things up, give the offense a chance to win some of these games for them.
Big C, what about you? Who do you think won?
I like the Giants, what they did. I also like, it pains me to say it, I like what the Jets did. D'Angelo Pon's an undersized corner, but he's an animal. He's a beast. He's a football player. Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver. You get Kenyon Sadiq, the best tight end in the draft. And then you also get David Bailey, one of the best pass rushers in this draft. I really like what the Jets did.
So after the Jets made that after they made that pick, I called my buddy. I was like, great pick, right? Great pick. He's like, no, we didn't need a tight end. We did not need a tight end. We needed everything else. I'm like, he's like one of the best players in the draft. You had to take him. He's like, no, we didn't. I'm like, dude, I hung up on him. Continued watching the draft. Like, I can't stand people when they're just overthinking it. They overthink things a lot during the draft, and it is what it is. So yeah, but for me, I gotta think about this. Should I just go homer and pick the Eagles? Honestly, but no, I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Giants too. I really like what they obviously. When you get Harbaugh there, you know the team is going to turn around. You know things are going to be moving, and they trust Harbaugh there, and perfect. That's exactly what they did here from start to finish in the beginning. Nicky was frozen. Nicky, are you frozen? Nicky, you're right there.
Obviously, I'm not frozen.
Oh, I was like, are you licking a window? Like, what is happening right now?
I'm like, are you all right, dude? I'm like, you okay? But yeah, all right. Now we're gonna start with the losers. So let's start with the big C and go around.
What was the question?
The losers. Who do you have as a loser?
Oh man, it's. I don't like to say anybody's a loser at this point. You know what I mean? You never you just don't know. You just don't know what these guys are gonna end up being. So I don't like to label anybody a loser. I don't like to label any of these kids to be failures.
I'm just talking about the teams as a general. I'm like not calling the kids losers at all.
No. I can't even give you an answer, honestly. I mean,
all good. If no one, what about James? What about you?
I'll tell you, I won't call him the biggest loser, but I felt like individual picks I didn't care for as much for a team trying to rebuild so much.
That's fair.
I think the Browns were so hot and cold in this draft. Spencer Fano, their first pick, fantastic pick. I don't know where you're going to play him. Are you going to play him at tackle or guard? If he doesn't work at tackle, he'll be a tremendous guard. So I think that's a really good, safe pick for them early. But with the wide receiver help, they needed to go Casey Concepcion, who has the biggest drop issues of like any wide receiver in this draft class. If he can clean that up, it's a fantastic pick. He's a great route runner. He's really explosive. If he doesn't clean that up, you're trying to figure out who your quarterback is, and your number one target doesn't catch the ball regularly. That could be a major issue for you. But then they come back with Denzel Boston on the next pitch, who is a reliable catcher of the football. Another big frame dude, which kind of seems to be the mold of what they've been drafting. So I think that's a good, reliable pick. And then getting Emmanuel McNeil-Warren later in the second, I thought was a home run selection. He was supposed to be a late 1, early 2 safety that I really liked. So I just thought they were real hot and cold. And then the QB Taylor Green late, that's the most athletic quarterback in the draft. But again, quarterback, what are we doing here, Cleveland? You got 18 quarterbacks now.
Right.
And most of them are good athletes, and nobody can throw the ball there.
Yeah. All right. Bo?
Yeah, and again, I'm not necessarily going with losers. I think the pick that I thought was curious was Ty to the Rams. And only because everything else they're doing is win now, and they go grab a quarterback at 13 that they want to take on Stetson for a backup role. Like, and actually very similar skill sets. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like a waste of a pick in a situation everywhere else. They're going all in, right? They're pushing all the chips to the middle, and you go grab a guy that may or may not beat out Stetson Bennett. I don't know that that's a great pick as high as they picked it. Now,
yeah, I agree with Bo. Sorry to cut in.
Oh, you're
but
good.
That is absolutely my pick. Also, is the Rams because they're in win now.
Yeah, I mean, because everything else they've done in the offseason, all of that is to go win the thing. And then they're like, hey, we're going to look at 3 years in the future with our highest pick in the draft. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, can it work out? Does Stafford get hurt tomorrow driving home and he has to go rock this thing? Maybe. Who knows, right? And that's why I don't want to say it's a loser pick or anything like that. But it is a curious pick, especially when they already have a guy similar on the roster that's been there for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Nikki, you there?
Yes, I'm still there. I just had to plug in my computer.
All good. All good. So who do you pick? If you had to pick one. Oh, okay.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah. If you had to pick a team that did not meet like your expectations for the draft, who would you have picked? Like any teams you were like, oh, what kind of pick was this? Did not expect that. I kind of have to go with I'm just gonna go. I might have to go with the Rams too because I understand that Matthew Stafford's on the last year of his contract, or pretty much last year of his career, but you could have got him later on in the draft. So I'm like, there's a lot on the knees too for the Rams, but I could see where they took it, why they took him. So, Nikki, you got something?
The Rams, I'll say this about the Ty Simpson. I understand, but considering that he was projected to go second round, they could have traded up early second round, gotten Ty Simpson, invested the first round into another position in need, and hope that first round pick pans out. So that way, when Ty Simpson takes over, you got a stronger team around him.
He wouldn't have made it to the second round.
No, he was always going first round. The Jets or the Cardinals were coming up to get him.
Yeah, Arizona would have traded back in for sure.
No, but that's
they took Carson back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We don't know for sure, but Ty Simpson's actually lucky. That's a better starting point with Coach McVay, a guy who's got a Super Bowl ring, 2 conference championships under his belt, and former coach of the year who's gotten a great reputation of winning ever since he took over the Rams. Now you're bringing a Ty Simpson into a system where he can buy into it. He can learn from Matthew Stafford, learn from Coach McVay and the rest of that team, and then take over and be in a better position than he would have been, say, with the Cardinals, who are a complete dumpster fire and full-blown rebuild. Because sometimes that start can help you out. See Aaron Rodgers. If he would have started with the 49ers, he still would have won, but would he have had as great a career if he started with that dumpster fire Niners team at the time? Who knows? But that's a good start.
Obviously, for the players' end of it, fit matters, obviously, and having a better team around you is better. From the Rams' end of it, that's where the curiosity is. Obviously, if you're a quarterback and you go to a better situation, that's what you want to do. And nobody's arguing that the Rams are leaps and bounds better than the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. But from the Rams side, that's an odd pick because you have a guy that has a similar skill set on the roster already. And everything else you're doing is to try and win a championship this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have had a heck of a talent at that spot. You could have had one of the top wide receivers. You could have had Kenyon Sadiq. You could have added a real serious offensive lineman. That could have been a weapon or a really good interior player on the line somewhere. So, yeah, I agree with you guys on that. I think you got the right mindset there. It's probably from a future-proofing a good move, trying to make sure you got your next guy in line. But it really does say, man, Stafford's got to feel some sort of way about this. It's got to be kind of similar to how Favre felt when they drafted Rodgers, and he's like, "Really, you're not going to get me weapons? I'm near the end of my career, and you're not going to get me weapons." And then same for Rodgers when Love got brought in. You know, he wanted wide receivers, and they just weren't getting them for him.
Yep.
There's either we'll see with Stafford. Who knows? Maybe it's since he's closer to the end than Favre, or say just slipped my mind what you just said, Jim. Then say Favre or Rodgers, he might be a little bit closer to the end. He might, maybe to some extent, but he might be more supportive. Time will tell on that one.
Yep.
I mean, that draft pick is you're betting against Stafford staying healthy. That's what that is.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, last season, post Super Bowl win was his only fully healthy season with the Rams outside that Super Bowl season in 2021. So that's another factor too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wonder, did you get lucky last year with Stafford staying healthy? Time will tell, but
well, and even if you assume that's true, you still have Stetson Bennett on that roster. It's not like he was a scrub in college.
We're gonna have a quarterback factory. I
think next year's draft class is supposed to be so great also that why not wait? You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to get to a Super Bowl. So very hard to get to a Super Bowl. It's not something that teams do every year or even 10 years. Look how long it's been since the Dolphins have been to the Super Bowl. And when you got yourself set up to be one of the favorites to reach the Super Bowl, and you got a pretty good all-around roster, and you're just looking for that one piece that may be able to come in and help you just get over the edge. I just don't think you take a quarterback when you got Matthew Stafford. Was Stafford the MVP last year? Who won MVP?
Stafford.
It was Stafford.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, but Anthony, I got you, man. I got you. So Anthony says, that's my question. Can all 5 of you explain to me and justify drafting 3 quarterbacks in one round like the Browns did?
That was last year.
That was last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares about the Browns?
I mean, and to answer that is they have a jersey with 40 names on it. Some of those guys played well other places. So you're just throwing mud at the wall, hoping something sticks. Draft every quarterback because you're still going to get it wrong.
Yeah. Well,
one thing's for sure. If you don't take any shots at the board, you don't ever hit.
That's true.
And their percentage is awful. They don't ever seem to find any QBs. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't keep on trying, especially if you want anybody to show up in the stadiums on Sunday. You better be at least bringing some new faces because these guys they're flaming out so fast that you can't keep on bringing them back on the roster 2-3 years later because the whole organization and the whole fan already hates these guys by then. I think they've already given up on Dylan Gabriel as far as the fan base. I don't know that the organization has. A lot of the fans really think that Shedeur Sanders is the next coming of Donovan McNabb or something. I don't know. They love him for some reason. And then there's still some of those fans that think that Deshaun Watson's going to go back to the form of 6 years ago too. Just keep on bringing guys in so somebody actually shows up on Sunday and goes and buys some hot dogs.
Anthony said no, it happened this year. They drafted 3 quarterbacks in one round.
No, they didn't. The only quarterback they drafted was in the 6th round, Taylor Green out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't 3 quarterbacks until the 3rd round in the whole draft.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then here's a funny one from Bobby. Cowboys should have drafted Simpson. They will never win shit with Dak.
I mean,
that's true.
I understand your skepticism of Dak, but I don't know that Ty Simpson's any better.
Well,
that's an Eagles game, yeah.
And not only that, but you're paying Dak $60 million. Like, you kind of have to ride that one out.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Dolphins picked up a quarterback from Iowa.
Who cares?
Okay.
You'll never. His name will never mean nothing. You know what I mean? Like it kills me with these undrafted free agents and people getting. You know, how many of those guys truly stick? How many of those guys truly make a football team? You know what I mean? They sit on your practice squad for fucking 5 years, and
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
tell you what,
concerned with them upper round picks. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that typically last. Yeah, you get a 6th rounder every once in a while that turns into a stud. But I mean, the meat and potatoes is at the beginning of the draft, and that the highest ranked players typically turn out to be the best players. Yeah, you get good 4th round players, you get good 5th round players. You do. But it's more of a rarity than what you think it is.
Well, and when you do hit late, you remember them, right? Which lets you know how uncommon it is. That's like when you have an undrafted free agent like a James Harrison that goes to the Hall of Fame. You know why you remember that? Because it doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask the panel, are you surprised that this 2nd rounder stayed on the team and played for 15 years? No. And you're also not going to know what player you were talking about because it happens. Whereas if you turn around and you're like, there's an undrafted free agent in the Hall of Fame, played for 15, 16 years, you're gonna be like, okay, well, I can narrow that down to like 5 guys. So
yeah. All right. All right. Let's get.
Was it Mark Gronowski? Is that who they were talking about, Big C? Because
I don't know.
If that's who it was, he played for Iowa and he was awesome in the East-West Shrine game. So I think there's actually potential there. A real athletic dude, he's strong and doesn't go down easy, moves well in the pocket. So
yeah, Idleman in the chat says that's who it was.
Yeah, he'll be fun in the preseason for you, assuming they hang on to him through then.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into draft day trades. I know there was a lot of them during draft day. There was a lot of them, a lot of trades here. What trade caught? What was the biggest trade you guys thought could think of? For we're gonna start off with James on this one. What trade did you like on draft day?
I mean, the one that made the biggest noise in Pittsburgh was obviously the Eagles trading in front of Pittsburgh in the first round, sniping Mekhi Lemon from him. I wasn't the biggest Mekhi Lemon fan, more because I'm just worried that there's something weird going on with the guy. I think he's an awesome player on the field. But then Pittsburgh traded up in the second round to get a wide receiver and kind of made up for it. But they really they looked pretty foolish being on the phone with the guy who then got drafted by somebody else because someone traded in front of him. So I thought that was a pretty big trade. I think for the Eagles, a real good move. You're obviously moving on from A.J. Brown, and now you got your guy on the roster. So, yeah, I thought both of those trades were pretty significant. Pittsburgh making sure they didn't get scooped twice in the second round by getting their guy then.
Yeah. All right. Big C, any trades during the draft you like?
I like the Dolphins moving back 1 pick and picking up 2 fifths for a player they weren't going to select in the first place. Not overly.
All right. Bo, what about you?
I liked KC going and grabbing their corner just because it made the prediction that I talked about a month ago look really smart. Now, I don't know that they necessarily needed to move up to go get him, but they went and got their guy. Obviously, they let their corner go to save money, to pay Walker. And since they had the 2 picks in the first round, I figured that they would go with a corner to replace the guy they let go, and of course, an offensive lineman. And so it's always fun when those prediction models play out kind of the way you thought. So I appreciate them moving up to get a guy to, make what I talked about a month ago look smart.
Nikki, before you go, Butterfly says, I think Mendoza may be overhyped. Hope he proves me wrong. Do you guys agree with that? Or
he's going to struggle a little bit. It's not like that offensive line just miraculously became awesome.
Yeah.
That offensive line's terrible. So, Yeah, is he going to be overrated? Sure. He's the number 1 overall pick, and he's not going to be the savior of the franchise year 1. So there's a lot of people that are gonna be like, oh, what's wrong with him? Told you you'd never make it or whatever. I mean, again, you get drafted number 1, unless there was some trade years ago, you're going to the worst team or one of the worst teams anyway. So, I mean, of course you're going to struggle, right? It's when you end up with a situation where there was a trade and you get to go to a good organization right away, then, maybe you'll see something. But I expect him to have flashes, but he's not that elite talent anyway. He is that like Kirk Cousins type of guy. Like he's a game manager, but not like talking bad about it, right? He goes in, he executes a game plan, but he's not going to go play hero ball. He can make a couple special plays for you, but he's not going to go be Josh Allen and just take over a game for you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if your expectation is him to go play hero ball every day, then yeah, he's going to underperform. If you expect him to go win you football games and play within the system and execute, then no, he's exactly what you drafted.
Yeah. And
was there someone willing to move up to the number 1 spot that was offering a boatload of picks to get Mendoza? Does anybody think?
I doubt it.
No. Yeah, I think so.
No.
Not with next year's draft where it's much deeper.
Yeah.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. He balled out in, his last year, right? So, I mean, he accomplished all the things you want a first rounder to accomplish, right? He wins a championship. He gets the Heisman. Like he does all the things you want him to do. He plays inspired football in the championship games, right? Like you see him trying and doing all the things he has to do.
Yeah.
That still doesn't make you a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes talent, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like you can win championships that way.
And actually, James, you and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think it was during Easter Sunday, and we were talking about how Kirk Cousins is there, and he might start, right? Is that what you were saying, that he might start over Mendoza?
Oh,
that's what they've been talking about. Yeah, that was what they've had as their open plan, is they wanted to have a veteran in there to start and then let Mendoza sit behind him and learn it. I think Cousins is a great fit for that. So I was happy to see them do that for the opportunity for Mendoza to try to develop, because you don't want to see these kids get thrown into the fire right away. There's very few of them that do well when that happens. So if you can sit behind somebody like Kirk, who's a good veteran, who didn't win because he was the best athlete with the best arm and the biggest guy, he won because he was smart and he was pretty accurate. So
I think they look like they could be brothers, honestly.
Right.
I mean, to your point on that also is Kirk Cousins mentally is going to be more apt to help this time around because he's coming into it knowing what the expectation is. He wanted out of the Vikings because they're like, hey, we're drafting our guy. And he's like, I still want to be the guy. He goes to Atlanta and they're like, hey, just kidding. You're not our guy. And so, of course, he's going to feel some type of way. Now, I mean, he still felt fine going to the bank, but, getting this move, he goes into it knowing, hey, this is your audition to go somewhere else. We're drafting our guy. But if you go into it with that expectation, I think mentally he'll be more apt to help the kid out.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, too. You may not want to start him, especially with the Raiders needing all the help in the world. We've seen how expansion teams like the Texans and the second incarnation of the Browns threw their young quarterback right in the fire, and that didn't help at all.
Right. And actually, Jay says Kirk Cousins' money at Atlanta, you didn't go to the bank came to you.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I want his agent. Can someone get me his agent, please? Wasn't it like one of the highest paid quarterbacks? Like, remember that, James?
He's like number 2 or number 3 in career earnings in NFL history. Yeah. It's crazy how high he is on the list.
I need his agent. That's what I need.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want, man. Like,
dude, I could retire in 5 years with whoever his agent is.
For real.
All right. So
you don't even have to win. That's the best part.
No.
Like you can be above average.
Yeah.
And just cash checks. Like I'm with it. Let's go.
I am too. Get your money, Kirk. Get your money, Kirk. I'm good with that. All right, guys, we're going to get into the trivia. This time there's going to be multiple choice here. So I feel like this is going to be a little bit easier than what I did in the past. So which Heisman winner went undrafted in the NFL? Tim Tebow, Charlie Ward, Jason White, or Eric Crouch?
Charlie Ward went to basketball.
Yeah.
Yep. It was Charlie Ward and Jason White. Jason White too.
Jason White too. I didn't know there was two of them.
Yeah, there was two. He was actually the more recent one. Which franchise has the most number one overall picks in the NFL history? The Browns, Colts, Lions, or Giants?
I'm leaning Browns.
Not Browns.
No, they're not around quite long enough. It's got to be something like the Lions because
it's not the Lions.
That's surprising because they've been bad for 100 years.
It's either the Colts or the Giants.
What was the pick? Our question?
Which franchise has the most number one overall picks in NFL history?
Colts.
It's Colts.
Yeah.
It's Colts. All right. Which draft is widely considered one of the weakest drafts with no Hall of Famers? 92, 2000, 2013, or 84?
Say that again? Sorry.
Which draft is widely considered one of the weakest ever with no Hall of Famers? 92, 2013, 2000, and then 2013, or 84?
2000?
Nah, actually, I'm just gonna say it. Jay got it in the chat.
Yeah.
It was
Might be 2013 because they haven't had a chance to have Hall of Famers, right?
Yeah, it was actually 92. Jay
92,
got
yeah.
it. Yeah, Vic, it was not the Giants. We're gonna do more multiple choice. I feel like that was a lot easier.
You think 2013 wouldn't have enough opportunity to get to the Hall of Fame, right? Because you gotta have a lengthy career and then 5 years wait time.
Yeah.
And 2013 is only 13 years ago.
So there's probably nobody.
What that means is one person's gotten in and no one got in 92.
Or just there's guys that they expect to get in that haven't had the opportunity to yet.
True.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you all for tuning in for the Sunday morning show. We had a great crowd today. Nikki, what you got coming up, man? Are you even there?
I think this week I might take a week off from the 3-point blitz. Unfortunately, got other things coming up Tuesday, make up my schedule. But at 8 p.m., we got everything on the table. Agent Warrior X, we'll talk NFL draft recap, NBA playoffs, some other news as well. And then probably next week we'll be back at it with the 3-point blitz and its usual Tuesday time slot.
All right. Bo, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, our daily morning show, coast to coast, and basically tons of sports overlap right now. So it's a lot of time traveling to stadiums. But so if you're in the Northwest, you're at a stadium, say hi.
All right, James, what about you, man?
Still. yeah. We went live for every pick this weekend, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we did recap shows all weekend. So we recorded our full draft recap show this morning before doing this live show. And then we'll get back to our weekly Saturday shows. Off season's here. Now it's team building time, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Big C, what about you?
I got to spend my time trying to fall in love with each and every Dolphins pick because I'm just getting hung out to dry because I disagree on some of these picks. So I got to figure out ways to fall in love. I gotta figure out how I get super excited about each and every one of the 13 draft picks the Miami Dolphins made, so I can continue to have viewers and subscriptions for the Miami Dolphins.
I feel like at that point you need to fall in love with every pick they've ever made.
I mean,
all right.
I'm not to say your fan base.
All right. So for me, guys, I got the Sixers game tonight. Sixers Celtics. Hopefully we'll pull out another win. I don't know. But Idleman goes, Big C watches the tapes. That's right. All right, guys. So make sure you like, share, subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network, everyone here on the panel. And guys, we'll catch you all later, man. Everyone have a good one. Like, share, subscribe, and we are out. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
Ice in the chair, steam on the coffee, breaking down tape, sleep looking car, sleep green in his notes, birds on his cap, talking about trenches, blitz, block, snap. Bo got a ring, West Coast breeze, stories from confetti still stuck in his sleeves. James C's black gold, whole town rides, Big C talk ways where the tide